All right, should we dig into part two? So we're going to be covering the data profile tables that you mentioned in part one. And so we're going to build off where do you get this data, and then how do you access it, and then what does it look like once you're there?
Correct.
Okay. Fantastic.
So let me go online right now.
So
take a break?
No, yeah, well, this will be great. So Alexandra's just going online, and if you want to follow along, census.gov, you can also be following online as well as watching. Again, this is going to be recorded, so you can also pause us and go and do this and then come back and hit play on another day down the line. Okay, so what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is census.gov. It's the website where our data is there. We host the data there. And I want to point out a few things on this website. There are some different tools you can look at data right here, just in the major screen. I won't really spend much time looking at these tools, but I want to point out a population clock is really interesting if you want to learn more about it and see how we look at the population of the country and the world. As you can see, we have one birth every 8 seconds. It's interesting. I've used this in schools, and kids generally love to look at a population clock as live. You can see it updating. Let me go back to the banner here and go back to the main page. Quick Facts, it's a great tool to access data. Right now, it's not available for cities and towns in Vermont as they are county subdivisions. However, we are just working on a new version of called Quick Facts. Let me see if it's here. Oh, it's not on the latest news anymore. It used to be. But soon you'll see a new release of this tool, and then our cities and towns will be there.
Oh, that's
and
so
they'll be
exciting.
really easy to use. All you have to select a state and then select your cities and towns. You'll be able to see some good information right off the screen. So stay tuned for that. It will be coming shortly. Hopefully by the spring you'll have this new tool available right here off the screen. Every time I'm accessing data in this website, I go straight to the Data Tools option. Of course, you could go by topic. However, in my experience, I find it can be a little more confusing. Each of these topics can take you to many different directions. I prefer to go to data, but feel free and you're welcome to explore by topics. When I go to data, you don't need to click on data, just put your mouse on top of data. You get to see data tools and apps. And again, you don't need to click. As right to your left, you see that we make available a list of the most popular data tools. American FactFinder is right here, as well as Census Explorer, which I want to show you a little bit before we go into the profiles. But if you click on data tools and apps right here, you do get a larger list with all our data tools. And again, feel free to explore some of them. There are very interesting tools here, such as On the Map, which is right here. We won't have time to cover, but take a look. It's a really good tool.
And that's a mapping tool of the data. So
You're looking at jobs and employment, where people live and where they work. And then we have the On the Map for emergency management. You can also see areas that are impacted by, let's say it's coming a storm, a hurricane, this area. It's automatically updated. With the storm, the area is going to be affected, and you can see the demographics for the area and the socioeconomic characteristics. So it's a really, really cool tool.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
You're spending time looking at all these cool data tools. Well, but again, we will spend most of our time today in American FactFinder, which is on this list, but I want to make sure you can quickly get to it. So again, data, don't need to click on. Data tools and apps. Just move to the left and it's in this list. Before I click in American FactFinder, let me just give you a quick overview of Census Explorer, as this is becoming more and more popular, and I can see us publishing more and more data using this Census Explorer. As you can see, we already have a few editions of Census Explorer. So again, feel free on your own time to look at different topics here. Right now, I'm just going to show you the People, Education, and Income Census Explorer. So clicking on that.
Now, what data is this referring to? Is this the decennial?
Good question. Let me go back. It really varies. This one, we let you know, this one is ACS data. The population estimate is based on a program called Population Estimate. So before you go, you can really read what is this based on. This one is based on the County Business Pattern Program, the retail edition. So this one is ACS again, the community edition. So it really varies. And that's good because this tool allows flexibility. We can really publish data from different programs and a mapping format, which is great to have visuals. So let me show you the People, Education, and Income Census Explorer. Okay. So right now I'm going to start by entering here Burlington.
That's a really nice interface. It looks just like MapQuest or Google Maps or any of those that people are quite familiar with.
Yeah, I think definitely it makes more comfortable when you're familiar with the look of it. Yeah. So I'm looking at Burlington, Vermont. I'm going to choose the place. And you won't see it for the city lines. Here you can choose what level of geography you want to see it for, which can be state, county level, or census tract. If I change to county, so you can see there's no county subdivision there. So we won't see exactly Burlington, but we know what Burlington is. So right now, let me zoom out a little bit. You would have the lines of the counties, and you can change the characteristics right here. So let's look at bachelor's degree or more. Mm-hmm. So when you click, you can see that we have different colors. You have the legend right here. So you have the lines of, let me zoom out. Oh, something is following my mouse. That's not. Okay. So different counties, you have different levels of education. And as you click on them, you can see, well, right now for some glitch, it's following my mouse. It shouldn't be that way. Well, when you click, you should see this pop-up window. So it's showing Chittenden County population with a bachelor's degree or more. And if you move to this county, it would change to the data for that county. And you can also look at tracts, which are the small pieces. So let me change to tracts here.
Oh,
so now we have Chittenden County by tracts, and you can see that you have the most educated population with a bachelor's degree right in the darker areas. And then this is the one with the least number of people with a bachelor's degree. So it's a good way to visualize, so you have an idea. Also, we have a little spot here, as you can see, a track. And one cool thing about this is you can look at over time. So what was like in 2000? So in 2000, you see that now we have more educated people with bachelor's degree in 2012, as these ones were dark in 2012, as you can look. Now, but in 2000, they were not. So it did have an increase of folks with bachelor's degree in this area.
So how can people get this information and share it out? So if I was going to be doing some planning and wanted to share this with other stakeholders, how do I share this with them? Is there a way to send it to them or have them look at it? Or
well, you can send a link. Mm-hmm. One thing I like to do with this, I take a lot of screenshots.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yes, I think it's a nice way of sharing. It's one of the things I have done, and I use for my presentations too. So if I have, for example, this is the 1990, where you have a very small area with bachelor's degree, I would probably be sending them 3 screenshots, because you can see them parallel. If you want to see the 3 years available, like 1990, 2000, and 2012, you won't be able to see it in one screen. I like to take screenshots, and then I can put them side by side.
And show the
progression.
And
then you can really see the progression.
Yeah,
yes, you can really see right now from 1990 how it became a lot more educated, the entire area in the county, 1990, 2000, 2012. But you can really only see that if you print a screen for the 3 years and put them side by side. So you see it's increasing, the brown areas are growing, and then you go here, 2012, and then you have a more massive area of people with bachelor's degree. So I find this tool visually helpful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Well, and you can just choose
it's
among,
really accessible.
Yeah, on all these topics right here. And of course, you can look at the county business pattern too, which is a different program, it's not the ACS. And you can look for county level, not track. So let's say total establishments by county, or you can look at total wage employees by county. So you can see based on this chart what it's like. Well, it's a fun tool. Play with it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I just want to make sure you're aware it's available.
And what's that called again?
Okay, I'll go back so you know where to get it. Data tools and apps, Census Explorer.
Census Explorer, I love that.
And you can have different topics. As you can see, we published a few different topics. So just explore it, right? Now going back to data, and let's really go into the American FactFinder and look at those data profiles. So again, data tools and apps. Now American FactFinder. So what we have in American FactFinder is 3 different ways of finding data. Community facts, guided search, and advanced search. We will really spend a lot of time right here in advanced search today. But I want to show you a little bit of community facts. So community facts is for that user, data user who needs a quick number for one single area. It's not comparing. You just have to type your geography right here. I'm going to go again with Burlington's where we are. Okay. So Burlington, Vermont. Click OK. Go. And then you get the total population, and you can play with the topics on your left and change to see a quick number for those areas. Again, you won't get more than one geography here, but you'll be able to get one single place. Could be a city, could be a county, could be a state, and play with the variables. Along with looking at these variables, what we do is, as you go, let's say housing right now or poverty, we suggest some other tables you may want to consider looking at. So if you're really not, you rushed, you can't spend your time in advanced search, this is a quick place to go to grab a number or see the tables we are suggesting for your area.
Now, because this is Burlington, then we know this is at the 5-year American Community Survey.
Good question. Well, Burlington could be a 3 years because Burlington has
big
more.
Enough.
It's big enough. It's more than 10,000. However, in community facts, all the data is 5 years. And there's one good reason to do it that way is if, let's say, you don't know how to use advanced search and you really want to compare Burlington to the state of Vermont. Here, if we were making it available the 1 year, you may, not knowing the data sets, download a 1 year for Vermont in print and then download a 5 year for Burlington and then start comparing them on paper. And that's what we don't want you to do. So we are forcing people to stay with the 5 years. That way, if they decide to compare, 25% people below poverty level in Burlington, and then they put Vermont there as the state, if it wasn't 1 year, you couldn't establish a comparison.
Right, we're going to compare Morrisville with the state. It would not be comparable. So we can take a small town and the state and compare them all in the 5 year.
Exactly. So we force in the 5 years here to make sure people don't have to know the data sets in order to use community facts, to make it simple.
But our viewers know the data sets
now. They do. So they can use this entire system now. Guided search, again, the name is self-explanatory. It's meant to take you from first steps of selecting geographies and programs and topics to tables. The limitation you have with guided search is in the end of when you see the tables, after you selected all your elements, you can only see 10 tables. So if you're looking at, say, educational attainment, and we have 300 tables available, you'll only be able to see 10 here. So you could be missing something really nice. So my suggestion, I would use guided search. If, let's say, after this workshop, 3 months from now is when you decide to go to American FactFinder, and you just can't remember how to use advanced search. Go to guided search and follow the steps 1 through 6. As you can see the screen there, right there, 1 through 6. Follow the steps. When you get to step 6, which is the table viewer, and you can see 10 tables, just click in advanced search. What happens is everything you already selected is going to be imported into advanced search. Then you can see those 300 tables instead of just 10.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a good way to refresh. It's a good refresh in how to use the system. I find guided search very helpful for that level. But I like to see everything that's available for me.
Like
knowing that I'm
options.
looking at 10 tables, knowing that 300 could be there, I like to have everything. At least that's my style of looking for data. So
this guided search is kind of like a make your own mystery or something. You get to make the choices along the way, and eventually you come up with the tables that are available for you.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. And it's a good way if you don't remember how to use advanced search. But now we are going to move to advanced search, is where we're going to spend most of our time today. Let me make sure it shows here. Okay. I don't know if you can see well the side of the screen. Let me refresh. Hold on. Tools and apps, American FactFinder, advanced search. I want to make sure you can get to see. Hold on. Maybe if I move the browser, because I think it's
a little
cutting.
bit cut off on the screen there. On the left-hand side, there's the tables that you're the options you can see.
Yeah, and we're really going to need to use this. So I don't know if you can see it well. So advanced search, I like to compare the system to like e-commerce, online shopping site, let's say Amazon.com for data. That's what you're doing here. It's almost like the same behavior. You're shopping. Let's say you are on Amazon and you're going to buy a book. You could filter down to find your book Well, you could just go there and look through the thousands and thousands of books they have, which I'm sure no one should do that. Or you can filter down based on author, title, edition, hardcover, softcover. So you have a lot of options, and then you will narrow down to a list of books, and then you can pick your book, look at prices, and buy it, right? Here is the same behavior, but you're shopping, your final product is a data table. The data tables here are not, you're not going to create them from scratch. You're not going to be cross-tabulating like you can do with another tool like DataFair. It's another tool we have. The tables are here pre-created. They are all created by our statisticians, and they're available in this American FactFinder. You're going to be filtering down to the best table that meets your needs. So you're going to be filtering down based on the elements we learned earlier in part 1. You're going to be filtering down based on geography, programs, data sets, and topics. So this is how you're going to be working the system. I would say that if you're online right now, let me show my screen again. Right in the center of the web page, you have steps 1, 2, and 3. Let's say automatically people are inclined to go right there. It's meant for that, step 1, 2, and 3 seems easy enough. Well, I'm not so sure it's that easy. I don't think it really will be good for people looking for cities and towns, as it can be a little bit misleading when it comes to geography. Let me just give me the name of a small town here.
I'm from South Hero. It's very small.
So South, what is this?
Hero, H-E-R-O. H-E-R-O.
Oh, just Hero, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so South Hero town, you have the county name here. So every time you see a geography and it's followed by the county name, that's a good geography. It means it's a county subdivision. So you would be okay and just select that town. However, it's really hard to select multiple cities and towns from this option. So if you want to compare to other cities and towns around with the state, with the county, you would have to be constantly typing them all there. So there's easier ways to do that. And another thing, when you type a topic, let's say income, right here, and you click go, you would find all tables about income. However, if you don't know, it's a keyword search that if you don't know the exact word, you could be getting really lost. Like if you're looking for literacy rate, you don't know if it's available on the website, you'll be getting no results. So the keyword search, I'll only use it if you know exactly what topic name you're going to be searching for. So again, the reference handout you received, the blue and yellow, the name of the topics are right there. Those you can search for. They are available. So it's a good way to use the keyword search. But if you, instead of income, you type wages, you're only going to see tables that have the wages on the title of the table. You may miss some that it doesn't say on the title of the table wages. That's the only thing I would avoid.
You have to know exactly what the title's called, otherwise the keyword's not really going to help you.
That's how I find, yeah. And the same thing with geography, I find it really time consuming. So I'm not, I don't encourage the 1, 2, and 3 steps. I like to go the longer way in the system, and I find I get to better data, more accurate in regards to knowing what's available. When I'm in a quick way of looking for data, I don't know if it's showing me everything I should see. Right here on the left side, there are a few things I want to point out. First is your selections, is this box right here. This is the heart of the system. I like to call it shopping basket. That's how I nicknamed, and I like to call it. Again, just to go with that shopping behavior, here's where you're going to put your elements. So if you're going to select the state of Vermont, Chittenden County, and then Burlington, you're going to add them to your shopping basket. That way the system will know you're shopping for data for those areas. And we'll make available here in the middle what tables are available for those areas. So that's a way of start shopping. So how do you select your elements? Again, earlier in part 1, we look at the screenshots. You're going to select them from the search options. You're going to select your geographies right here on the geographies, and you're going to select your topics, your data sets, and programs from topics. Again, today we won't have time to look at industry codes, your occupation codes. And in race and ethnic groups, this is a really cool place for you to try, but you can find some good tables under topics as well. We'll see it later. I'll only use this search option when I'm doing research on one particular group. So what's the population that's really, you have foreign population in this area? Do you have?
Bhutanese.
Bhutanese.
Yeah.
So you could go under race and ethnicity and type that and try to see if you have data available in that particular group. That's when I use this option only. So let's go back to geographies right now. So this is at least it's my best practice that I'm sharing right now. You could navigate the system in any way. However, I like to go in geographies first. I always start by narrowing the system to what geography I want to see data for. So I click on geography. And again,
so we're in American FactFinder, we're in the advanced search, and the first thing you go to is geography, because that's going to, what area are we looking at?
yes,
Okay,
I find that
fantastic.
to be the way to
great.
go. Okay, I start with geography, and there are 4 ways of looking for geography in this pop-up window we just got. Again, right here you see select a geographic type. We have the most requested checked. If you don't find your geographic type in this drop-down menu, of course, you can always go to all of them. It's a big list. But I would say generally, the ones you saw on part 1 of the screen as the most popular geographies, they are here. So let's drop down, select a geographic type. You could choose state, county. Here are your cities and towns, county subdivisions, census tract. Here are your villages under places, right? And yes, you can look at congressional districts, school districts. So there's plenty of geography. For this first example, I'm going to show the data profiles. I'm going to choose county. But again, it would work with county subdivision. It would work with tract. It's just right now I decided to choose county. So the first thing you have to do is tell the system what is the ultimate level of geography you want to get down to. So I want to go and find data by county. So you say what county you want to get data for by state. So we want data for Vermont. And you have an option right now, as you can see, to select all of the counties in Vermont or individually select them. And your computer, you can use the Control, the Shift key to select more than one. You may not want it all, but you may want a 3. So you can definitely use your computer to select a few.
And how do you do that? You hit Control, Shift, and then you can click on the ones.
You can use Control, or you can just use Shift to select some of them straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah. The one I'm going to select right now is all counties, because we know we have folks from all over the state, so we're going to have from multiple counties. So I want to make sure at least you can get to see something about your county. But before I move into tables, if you want to, I'm add first. So all counties, I go here and add. As you can see, this is going to move into your shopping basket. So let's take a look. Wait for that while it loads. Well, the thing about being online, we're going to have to be patient a little bit with the internet, right?
Especially in Vermont.
Yeah. So all counties are now in my shopping basket. And I still have my geography pop-up window open. But right now in this blue bar, I can see that I have about 28,000, well, almost 29,000 tables available, data tables available.
That's overwhelming.
I know. Can you spend really time looking through all of them? No. That's why you start filtering down by the other elements. But again, if I want to compare all counties to the state, I could just change from county and say, now I want a state level, and go here and say, just give me Vermont. And then I know on my table I'll have Vermont as a state, data for the entire state. Let me add Vermont to the basket. So now my table would show every county plus the full state, in case you want to compare. I could also compare with a city if I want. It's all about how you play with the select a geographic type. So now if I want a city and town, I'm going to change from state to county subdivision. That's how we name cities and towns. And I wanted them from Vermont. I want it to be cities and towns of Vermont. And I could have all cities and towns right now. Not sure how many cities and towns you have in the state of Vermont, but you could have
251.
So 251 cities and towns will be in your basket right now. Or you can select by county. So let's go to the county where we are, Chittenden County, and select a few. Again, just like we did with the counties, you could use the Control or the Shift key and select different ones. You can select all. Or I can just select one. I'm going to add Burlington to my basket. Okay. So the fun thing about advanced search, it can really add different elements here. Even in geography, you can go to the state, to the county, to the city, and mix and match. After you're done selecting your geography completely, you can close. You're done with geography. And I now have 16,000 tables available. I believe the fact that I add Burlington, as you can see, now we have, this is the list of tables, right? The table IDs, the table names, and this is the data set, the folders they're coming from. So from the 2013 drawer, I have 2 folders available, a 3 years and a 5 year. So the reason why it dropped from 29,000 to 16 is most likely it excluded all the 1 year estimate folders right away for you. Burlington cannot get a 1 year, so why we're going to see it? We won't. but you still can get a 3 years for Burlington, Vermont, and the counties.
And
So
if
it's-
we added a even smaller geographic location than Burlington,
could
we'd
bring
probably
out 5.
only get the 5-year.
we could only get a 5-year. Sometimes we will keep the 3, but how you know you're not be able to see the data is as soon as you open the table, if that small town is gone, you don't see anywhere in the table, you know the data set's not good enough. You have to go to a 5-year. Even right now, the 3 years, let me select, let me try this one. I believe this one Burlington won't show, or even maybe some counties won't show, because we're talking about characteristics of foreign-born by region of birth, Latin America. I don't know how many foreign-born from Latin America you have here. So let's see. Yeah, not even the state you can see. So you don't have enough. You don't qualify for 3 years. You probably would have to go, even for the state level, you have to go to a 5. Oh, actually, the 5 is not showing. Hold on, let me see. Which means you don't have enough people. Yeah, because this is actually only showing for the 5. Hold on, back to this. Yeah, it's only showing for the 5-year, and even for your state, you don't have enough. Maybe the agents, because you said you have what?
Yeah, Bhutanese.
Bhutanese.
Yeah, we have a lot
I don't know.
of refugees.
Yeah,
in
again,
Burlington.
for the entire state you could get. So you could get information on the foreign-born population for the state level. But again, it's about playing with the data sets, knowing that the 5 years is where you're going to most times get the data for your area. Let me go back and let's look at the shopping cart again. So here I have all these geographies. And if you don't want a geography anymore, it's easy, like just exclude them. I'm going to exclude Burlington for now. And I'm actually going to exclude the entire state. I just want to look at the counties. So I'm back to 28,000 tables, and you can see a 1, and 3, and a 5-year estimates are available, the 3 folders. I'm going to use a 5 years. I don't know if you have counties. Do you have counties with population below 20,000 in Vermont?
Yeah.
So they would not show under a 3 years or a 1 year estimate. So we're going to use 5. And what I want to show you right now, and this is what's most important about part 2, is what we call the data profiles, the DPs. By default, in American FactFinder, the DPs are the first thing you're going to see. The most current DPs, we have the 13s right now, 2013, are going to show as soon as you add a geography here. It could be one city added here. It could be one track. The DPs will show. So to access, again, a data profile, all you need is a geography. As soon as you add a geography, the data profiles will show. Now we have DPO2, which is the social characteristics for 3 different folders. The DPO3, the economic characteristics from 3 different ACS data sets. The DPO4, housing, and DPO5, demographic, all available for 3 different years.
And again, the DP data sets is that slide we first looked at in part 1, an American Community Survey that said there's social, there's demographic, economic, and housing. Those are the 4.
Let me go back to that. I think it's important that we look at that again.
All right. So
Right, so that's you're referring to.
So
Yes.
those are the data profiles, and this is the data that they can get in each of those profiles. So as soon as you go into American FactFinder and you've selected geography, this is the data profiles you're going to see available.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, those are the 4 profiles.
Fantastic.
Let's go back online. I know all the participants have a copy of this PowerPoint, so they can refer to that.
Yeah.
So here are our profiles, and the reason why I like them so much, the profiles give you a good overview of your community in any level. Again, it could be city. We are now looking at counties. It's a quick place to go to have, even for most of the data, you'll find it there. We're going to look at detailed tables later, but the profiles are very good. And every year in December, if you are in a place that you need a 5-year estimate, remember to download a new one. We're going to release a new DP for your community every year. So right now, if you are in South Hero, you want to download the data profiles for South Hero for 2013 American Community Survey. Next December, you can just drop those and get the new ones, the 2014.
Fantastic.
So every December, you can get the new data.
And people could compare those.
With caution again, because if they're 5 years, you're going to have those overlapping years.
Overlapping.
Yes. With 5 years, you have to be careful. Again, the ones coming up in December, you could compare with the 2005-09.
Yeah.
You could look at the trend. So right now, back on the screen, again, we added geography, all counties. We have our DPs. So how do we select them? If you just want to look at one table, you can click directly on the title, which is a hyperlink. If you want to see more than one, you should just check these boxes. So right now, I want to see the 4 profiles, and I want to see them for the 5-year estimate. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I check a DPO2, 5-year, DPO3, 5-year, DPO4, 5-year, and DPO5, 5-year.
All right.
And after I select the tables I want to look at, just click in View. And you're going to have your tables. Whoa. Hold on. This is a surprise to me, actually. Oh, I see. No. Hold on. Let me just go back. We are, by a glitch of the system, I was looking at Latin American foreign born. I was like, my God, the profiles are available, I'm sure. It's like, this is not. Let me just clear all. Maybe if I click in Clear All and check them again, I'll get the profiles. Hold on. Yeah, sometimes you have a few glitches, which again, refreshing and Clear All is the way to go. Let me select them again.
So by selecting them, you're putting them in your basket, in your shopping basket?
You are not. The shopping basket is basically just the elements. In this case, we select one, which is geography. Another glitch.
Oh no.
Oh gosh, deleted all my geographies. Maybe I'm just clicking this.
Please
mouse.
bear with us.
Yes,
We're dealing with our technology here. This might be a good time for questions, 862-3966. If you're in a specific area, or if you've tried getting data for your organization, your program, now's your time to call and ask Alexandra, because maybe someone else is having that challenge too. So it'd be great to get your questions in. And so, all right, so we're back in advanced.
I'm starting from the beginning, geographies again, which is a good overview of geography. So let's select, I want a county again. So I went to most selected to say I want a county level data. I want it to be from Vermont. So it's just let's look at the positive side. We are watching again how to select geographies.
Just in case.
Yes. I told the system earlier I want all counties right here, add to my selection. I'm done with that. I close geography, and I'm going to check my DPs 2, 3, 4, and 5.
For the 5-year.
5-year estimate.
Okay.
Click in View.
Fingers crossed.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, we got it. Okay. So
the
first
data
thing,
gods are with us.
I know. We were in step 1 before, which was advanced search, where we were looking at the geography, selecting the tables. Now we are on the table viewer. And as you can see right on top, results 1 of 4, because we did select 4 tables. The first one we checked was DPO2. And again, you asked earlier about sourcing. I always use this, the name of the table and the data set right here. That's a good way of sourcing our tables. A few things I want to show you. We have all the counties right here. And as you move with the arrow, you would see them all. Also, if you download, it's something I like to do as an Excel. It's easier to see all the geographies in a row, right? But right now, let's stay in this view. And I want to show a little bit of the content of the DPs and as well a few things you can play with in these DPs. So again, DP stands for data profile. Okay? So this is the social characteristics. And you'll be able to see characteristics by household, such as, let me highlight this one, female householder with no husband present with children. Where in Addison County, you have about 7.3% of your households are of single moms. And then you have single dads too. Why not, right?
Yeah.
A lot of dads raising their own children right now. Relationship, marital status. You can have that on fertility, so women having birth in the past 12 months. Then we have data on grandparents raising their grandchildren, which is a trend that's growing, as according to our data across the country. Data on school enrollment. And again, this is a profile, so remember that you can find each of these tables in more detail, each of these topics in detailed tables later. This is part 3. So right now you can see some information on school enrollment because it's a profile. When we move into detailed tables, you can get school enrollment tables that may be crossed with income, may be crossed with employment. You can see
this
all
is just kind of a snapshot. An overview.
Correct.
And then you can always dig in later.
Yes.
When you go into get the data, and that will be covered in part 3.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But I always go, my first thing, any geography that I get or request, I look at the DPs first, as I find it's a good way to explore the data, understand the area, and generally I find a response right there. If not, then I move into a detailed table, which you will see part 3. So again, let's continue to review this. This is a DP. Then you move into educational attainment. You can see, let's say, percent with bachelor's degree and higher. So again, in the county where we are, we have about 47% of population with a bachelor's degree or higher. And I remember Census Explorer did show that the county was pretty educated. Veteran status, so data in veterans, if your organization serving the veteran populations, you're going to have more detailed tables about veterans. Disability status, again, just a snapshot on disability, crossed with age. Residency 1 year ago, if people were living in a different county, a different state, or same state, if they're coming from abroad. The place of birth of those who are coming from abroad. And you can look at the native population and the percent and the estimate of the foreign-born population. So in Chittenden County, about 7.2% of the population is foreign-born folks. Okay, and for those who are foreign-born, then we're going to give you information, citizenship status among the foreign-born, how many have citizenship or not, the year they entered the country, then the region of the world they were born, and it seems like Asian is probably your highest in Chittenden County. It is. You have some from Europe and Northern America. So you have the Canadians crossing the border here? Yeah. Okay.
We gladly accept them.
Oh, great. Yeah, Vermont's very friendly. Believe me, I love coming here. I really do. I was here in December, and I was like, I need to come back. Burlington, the entire state is so enjoyable. Then we have language data. Again, just a snapshot on language. Households. This is about linguistic isolation. So we are talking here not if you learn Spanish in school or if you learn Mandarin in school, is whether the household is speak that language primarily, is the major language of the household, and whether that they can speak English or not, if it's very well or not. And then the last part of this profile is about ancestry, so a little snapshot on ancestry. And you're going to see the computer and internet use. This is a 5-year estimate. It's not available yet. And the reason for that is was a new question, and we haven't collected 5 years on that question yet. So as soon as we have collected responses on computer internet use in 5 years, it will be available. Right now, it's not for the 5 year.
That's a big discussion in Vermont, and connectivity. It's something the governor has been really focused on. So it'll be interesting to get that data down the line.
It's true. Yes. Well, as soon as I hear that the 5 years is bringing that information, I'll make sure to let you all know. So before we move to the economic profile, which, by the way, is my favorite. I love when you talk about income and poverty, all that stuff. We're going to get there with the next profile. But I want to show you some tools you can use in the system. And not only with the profiles, but any table in the system, you can use what I'm about to show you. And these are the tools. First tool is modify your table. So if you don't want to download an Excel and really delete your columns and rows and edit from Excel, you can always change the way your tables look right here by modifying your table. You can exclude, let's say you don't want to look at the margin of years right now. It's just too many columns. You can exclude them from the view. You can exclude some rows. So you can change things on the screen. You can transpose and see your geography is right on this column right here instead of the row.
So that's switching what's on across the top and putting it down the side.
Correct. The transpose.
So if that makes it easier for you to view the data.
Yeah, like we can do right now.
Okay.
So right now you have the counties
down the side.
Down
there.
the side.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me reset.
And reset just puts it back to the way it originally came. Okay.
And if you don't want to modify, you just go back and hide and modify. So we're back to the resetted table we had. And now we're moving on to the next tool. To bookmark, may say, oh, we all know how to bookmark, but wait, you see this. It's definitely, well, I'm not going to say my favorite because I love the mapping feature, but bookmark is quite interesting. So let me show you bookmark right now. So Sheila, if I wanted to send you a table, let's say I saw this profile, the really cool profile for all counties we're looking in Vermont, and I wanted to share it with you. Don't ever copy the browser link. And I won't ever send this to you, because if I do, and you click on, all you see is the Extra American FactFinder tool.
It just goes to the main page.
Exactly.
Okay.
The bookmark link that you see right here is the only link. Hold on, I need to copy the entire thing. Can I just, okay.
Okay.
So let me Control-C and just copy that link. This link keeps all the information that we're just looking at. And let me show you. So I'm copying the bookmark. I'm going to open a second tab, brand new tab, my browser, because I want you to take a look. And I'm going to paste that link. So if you look at the link right now, just all about the FactFinder and the table, you have the program right here you're getting your data from, ACS. You can all see. We have right here which year, which drawer it's coming from. Is at 13. And what data set it is a 5 year, right? Then you have here the name of the table. We call it table ID. We know it's a data profile too. And what are these numbers right here? This is your geography. So the link is also keeping what geography you selected. If you want to go back to this table, save those links, and you can always change. So in December of this year, when the 14 comes out, you don't want to have to select everything again. Just come here and change this to 14 and press enter.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's simple like that. Or if you want to go back in time and go to 2010 DPO2, you could.
So if we're going back to our analogy with the filing cabinets and you're in drawer 13 and you have this link and you want the exact same folder, but in year 14, you just change that year in the link, in the bookmark, and then you've gone up, but all the other variables are the same.
Everything will be there, the geography will be there, the table will be the same. It's just a different, it's going to pull from a different drawer. It's going to be a different year.
That's amazing.
You can go back to 05, which is the first one, the 05, 09, 5 years, and compare. When the 14 comes out, that's what you want to compare, basically. Not only that, you can change the data set right here, too. So right now we have 5, but if you want to just see this later on for the state of Vermont and you want to use a 1-year estimate, you could just say, give me a 1 year. I don't want a 5-year anymore. And even with the table, you can change. Right now, DPO2, right? I could say, I save only the link for DPO2, but now I want to see the housing, which is 04. You change to DPO4 and you can see the new table.
Oh, that's amazing. So you can even change between data profiles.
Yes, you can.
And you're not just linked into, I'm just doing the social or I'm just doing the economic or just the housing.
No, you can edit this. Just as an example, every time, when we go into detailed tables in part 3, I will show you this. Every time I bump into a table that I really like and I know I want to use more often, I not only bookmark, but I save the table ID. In this case, the table ID is like DPO2. Every table has an ID, you'll see that. There's a table about poverty that I find very interesting. I can just show you. I could go here and delete this completely, and I'm trying to remember, I think it's S1703, hopefully I'm right. And press enter. I have it on my phone, I keep a list of tables I like. So yes, so I changed completely. I still have all the counties because
you'll have our geography because that was the same.
Yeah, I kept the geography, I kept the year, the 5-year estimate, I kept the 13. I just changed the table. So I changed from a profile to a detailed table, and this is a poverty table. This is select characteristics of people at specified levels of poverty, which we're going to look at how to get to this table later. But again, once we learn to get to the detailed table, you get there on your own. Keep the table ID or bookmark it. That way you don't have to do that work again. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me just close this second tab that I opened because we don't want to play with the bookmark anymore.
But that's a great feature.
Yeah, I like the bookmark too. If you don't want to you can simply just bookmark on your browser. But if you don't want to fill your browser with like American FactFinder tables, what I do personally, because I go through so many tables every day, I have a Word document and I copy those links and I put in a Word document just with a little description. This is a poverty table for all counties in Vermont, and put the link. That way, if I want to go back there, the link is right there for me.
And then you just go right there.
Yeah, that way I don't have to be always selecting geographies, especially if you work in a track level. Again, let's say you selected all the tracks around the lake, and this is a lot of work. I will show you later how to select, but it's a lot of work. You want to do it once. You don't want to have to do it again. So if you work in an environment project with a lake, select the geography, bookmark it. You can just start from there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Let me close the bookmark link then. And yes, you can print any table. It's going to just generate a PDF, and then you print. Download, you can download any table. You can download as a PDF and Excel format. If you have someone who uses the Geographic Information Systems, the GIS systems, and you want to ask them to map data for you, don't send an Excel. You have to send what's automatically checked here, comma delimited file. Mm-hmm. You're going to get just a zip file, and it will be an Excel inside, but that zip file is going to give them, the geography person, what they need to map, which is the geocodes, the GeoIDs. So again, if you plan to send any data table to be mapped, always send in the comma delimited format. Okay? If not,
so you can share with a link, you can share the file that you've downloaded, and is there another way? Oh, and you can print it.
You can print it, yes.
Perfect.
Yes. In Excel, if you're just using the data for your own project, Excel is helpful. I prefer to look at the data in Excel than even on the screen, because you can exclude things you don't want, but you can also work on charts and graphs. So I find it helpful. Moving on to create a map. As you can see, it's blue right now. It could be gray, and the difference is create a map. This feature is only available for you if the table that you have has 2 or more of the same geography. This table has 2 or more counties. We could have 2 or more states, 2 or more cities and towns. Then you can map. But if I just had here Vermont, Chittenden County, and Burlington, you have 3 different geographies. One is a city, the other one is a county. You can map.
So they have to be comparable.
They have to be 2 or more of the same type of geography,
okay,
to map. So once you have that, because remember earlier in my basket I put the state of Vermont? That would be, if I had kept Vermont, that would be the first column here on my table. I would have to map just the counties. I would have to skip the state. I wouldn't be able to map a state with a county. So again, create a map is right here. Once you click and create a map, and again, this is available for any table, including detail tables, not just the profiles. Create a map, what it does for you is as soon as you click on all the statistics, they're all hyperlinks right now. It's a limited mapping tool. It's not like GIS, ArcGIS. You can only map a row at a time. So let's say in this profile, I wanted to map, let me find something. I'm going to go with a bachelor's degree again. I want to map bachelor's degree or higher. I can map the estimate. Oh, sorry, I'm in a poverty table. Sorry. It's okay. It's a lot of glitches today. All my DPs are gone from here. Do you see the 104 completely gone? I'm like, oh my God, I'm in a poverty table, which is okay. Let's map the poverty table. Sure. Not a big deal. We'll go back to profiles in a bit. So let me map the education. Where is that piece? Okay. So I want to map persons with a bachelor's degree. It could be just the total, or I can map those with a bachelor's degree and less than 50% poverty, or not. Let's go with less than 100%. I want to map this data point in Chittenden County. Again, you can only map 1 row at a time, and you have to choose a data point according to a column. As soon as I click the 3.2, the system will map all the same columns across that row for you. So if I click in 3.2 and click in Show Map, it's very fun when American FactFinder has glitches in the day you are presenting, right? At least it's functioning, which is a great thing. Okay, so let me bring it up.
It builds the patience in all of us.
I know. Let's wait. Now we have to be patient too.
So while it's loading, so we're covering the American FactFinder in the advanced search, and we're digging into how to choose geographies, put those in our basket, how to look at data profiles, and now we're figuring out how to map that information once we've had the tables. Okay, just a quick review.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, look at that. I think it's come up.
Yeah, let's see how fast the colors. Well, there's some colors already. So here's the map that we created with the counties. For some reason, not all the counties are mapped. It could be just a glitch again that's not popping up. Oh, you're missing a few, right?
Yeah, there's 14 counties. I don't think that.
Well, again, or the data could be suppressed for these counties. Maybe the population and poverty is so low that we can't release the data. It could be 2 things. Hopefully, it's a glitch. I would love for the data to be available, but may not. I would have to go back in the table and check. But again, you have here your legend, right? The percents. You can edit this map in a few different ways, but you have your title right here. So you can make reference to what's this map all about.
So this is a map of less than 100% of the poverty level and who has a bachelor's degree or higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only from the population 25 years and older.
Okay.
Again, that probably explain. I believe probably we don't have the data for all these counties. Yeah. So with data, with colors and data classes, you can change the color of your map. You can change the number of classes. We may want to break these ranges into 7 different ranges. So you can change things. Let me collapse this. But one thing I like to do is also work with boundaries and features, which means if I want to see on that map just the lines of cities and towns and their names, I could just go here and say label all my cities and towns, again, county subdivisions, and give their boundaries. It won't change the data itself, but at least you can see a map of cities and towns. So for someone like myself, I'm not familiar what cities and towns are part of each county. This is a way that I could. Let me zoom in so I can see them. If it's updating. Nope, it's not updating. Oh, I am dealing with a lot of glitches today, huh? Let me try it again. Nope. Well, let's hope the next time I map, it's working. I really want to show you cities and towns data. I want to show a map of cities and towns, and I want to make sure we label them. Oh, right here.
There we go.
We got it. Thank you. We have the cities and towns now by county. Again, it didn't change the level the data is showing. It's still showing by county. But at least for someone like myself, if I find that this county, let me zoom out, has a high percent of folks with bachelor's degree that are in poverty, I may want to see what cities and towns are part of it. Like this county has the highest percent.
Yeah.
I may want to investigate by city level what's poverty like here in this county. So I'm not familiar with the state well enough, but would it make sense that more poverty in this area?
Yeah, Southern Vermont probably, I think that might be true. Also, it seems like there's very high levels of bachelor's degree attainment in there, and there are a lot of schools down there.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it seems like it would make sense.
Okay. One thing I want to point out with the system, it's don't use the back arrow while in American FactFinder. It could delete your shopping basket. And we already have some glitches today, so talk about glitches, use the back arrow. Okay. So we always make available the option here back to advanced search, or you can always click in advanced search from here, but I use this option all the time. So I'm going to go back to advanced search. So what I want to do is I want to grab those profiles again. So let me clear all. I don't want the poverty table anymore. Let me select the DPs again. DP3. DP04 and DP05. Click on view. Unless I'm repeating these steps over and over. Okay, 1 of 4. We already looked at the social profile. We're going to move to the economic now. So let me go to result 2. This is the economic profile. Again, here is always the table ID, the table name, the data set. You have the tools all available again for each table. We have all our counties, and now let's see the content. So for the economic profile, you can find information such as employment status, percent unemployed, so you can see the percent unemployed by county. And then you can see that crossed with gender a little bit and age. You can see information how people are commuting to work. So how many work from home, or the percent that walked or used car, public transportation, all of that. You can look at occupation, industry, people working at. You can look at class of worker. Let me bring it to that. For example, here you could see self-employed in owned nor incorporated business workers. So your business owners will be here. So you can see like in Edison County, 12.2% of your workers they own their own business. Then you
Very entrepreneurial there.
Yes, I know. And then you move into income and benefits. And I think this probably interests a lot of you. With income and benefits, you have in 3 ways. You have by household, you have it by family, and then you have it per capita. I've noticed a lot of confusion in data users. It may not be the case of anyone here, but I just want to point it out. It's when should I use household, when should I use family? Well, basically, it's on a definition. When we release data on a household, it's every person living in the housing unit, regardless if they're related by blood, marriage, or adoption. When we release data about families, it's only we're only aggregating the data from those in that household that are related by marriage, blood, or adoption. So for example, where I live in Windham, New Hampshire, my household is my husband and I and 2 children, and we have an exchange student living with us for a year. If you want to look at the median household income for the entire of Windham where I live, because it's a household, the income of the exchange student would count into my household income. But if I'm looking at family income, her income will be completely excluded. So it's interesting. If you look at data for example, Boston, we have tons of universities, right? Lots of college students. When you look at median income for households in the city of Boston, median income is really low. Because including all those college roommates, it's a household. It's not a family, but the college roommates are a household. And they may work like part-time, make very little income, and it all counts towards the median income for households. If you look at median family income for Boston, you're going to be excluding all those apartments with roommates and all those students that are not living with a family, and then you have a much higher median family income. So just think about that when you're deciding whether for your planning or grant you're going to use median or any income for family or household.
That's probably a really good point, especially here in Vermont, where there are a lot of schools.
Exactly.
And they do contribute a large portion of the population. Those students coming in, and they Yeah, that's really interesting.
If you want to make sure that apartments where students live are counted into this income, you go by household. If you want to exclude how all those are not related, like just sharing an apartment and not families, if you really are organizations just serving families, you want to look by family for sure. So again, with incomes, you're going to have ranges. Let's go back to the screen. You have ranges of income. You have the median income, the mean income, and you have some benefits, right, laid out here for you, such as Social Security, retirement income. You have, let me move down a little bit. You have like food stamps. So there are a few informations on benefits. Then you move into families, like I mentioned. The range is the median income for families. And then you have also the per capita income right here. The next one I want to show is the health insurance coverage. Again, it's just a snapshot, but you have whether people have health insurance, no health insurance, and whether it's private or public for those who have a health insurance. And we have right here, we at least offer a little bit more information crossing health insurance with employment status and age. And the last part of the economic profile is about poverty, which is the percent of families and people with income below poverty level. So again, for families and then for people, for individuals, and a little bit crossed with age. Again, this is a snapshot of poverty. It's not a detailed table. Go ahead.
And again, this is 5-year data, so we can't necessarily be comparing this from before the Affordable Care Act or after the Affordable Care Act, because
Correct.
It's all being kind of pushed
Yes.
together in one.
You could do that with the state level because you have a 1-year estimate for the state level. And with areas like some counties or even Burlington that have more than 20,000 people, in a 3 years estimate, you can do that too. Just when you choose the different data sets from 2005 through 13, make sure you don't have those overlapping years. Because with a 3 years estimate, you still can find some data sets that don't overlap. But again, when it passed, you have to find a year and see if you have data sets before that and data sets after that.
And on the state level, we do have the annual data,
Yes,
so that we could
be able to really get a year and look at the years after and the years prior to
before it.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
So we just looked at the DPO3. Again, you could modify, bookmark, download, create a map. Let's go to DPO4, which is our housing profile. With the housing profile, we get information about the units in the area. So whether the vacancy rate and rental rate, vacancy rate, what houses are occupied, number of units in the structure, year the homes were built, number of rooms, number of bedrooms, tenure, whether people are renting or owning their homes. Let's say Chittenden County, the majority own, but you have a great proportion of renters. Right here, 3/4. It's a good number of renters in the area. Then we have the year that they moved into the house, vehicles, how many cars are available, how they're heating their homes, which is an important piece of information as well. And then some characteristics, if the housing units here lack some basic like plumbing and kitchen facilities, occupants per room. Then we have values of the homes in the area, so in ranges, the mortgage status. We have the monthly cost for the owners, again in ranges and then in medium for those who own it, and then housing without a mortgage, the cost.
So we just have about 20 more minutes.
Okay.
So I want to give folks a chance to stretch, and we're going to be coming down the home stretch here. So if you want to stand up and move around, you guys are hanging in there. So congratulations on that. Is there anything more on part 2 that we before we move into part 3, or?
No, basically the profiles are here. Again, from DPO4, you can just move to DPO5 and take a look at the characteristics, which is the demographics of the population in those areas. But this is all. So what I wanted to remind you, let me go back to advanced search, is to see your profiles, again, all you need is a geography in your basket. Simple like that. It could be any kind of geography, down to the track level, the profiles will show.
Fantastic. That's so great. All right, so we're going to be switching into part 3 now. And in part 3, we're going to be talking about those detailed tables.